This is the last part of a game that I played on the internet at the website let's play chess.net. It's a correspondence game. We played almost one move each day, but sometimes faster, sometimes a little slower. And in this position, the last move of black was rook to c8, and I took the rook because I had the feeling that I had no choice than exchanging rooks. I don't want to give the c file to my opponent, and he took back with the king. And at this point, well, when I exchanged the rooks, I thought that the ending would be much better for me because I am a pawn up and I have a bishop against a knight. But the thing is that actually that was a misjudgment, because what I didn't realize was that this pawn is actually quite far advanced, and his king is much closer to the center squares than my king. My king really needs to walk a much longer way to get there. So I didn't realize that when I started with the simplification of the position, but now I was confronted with this fact. I played in this position, I played a3 to prevent the knight coming to b4, and here I had expected that he would play his knight to c7, because after knight c7 he attacks my pawn, and if I want to save it I have to go to d6, and then he can play knight to e8, and if I want to centralize my king, he can go with his king to d7, and then already the pawn on d6 will be falling, and we'll have an ending with equal material and a bishop against a knight, which is, well, a little bit better for white because of the bishop and because of the fact that the pawns are on two different wings. So then the bishop often is stronger than the knight, but it's very difficult to win it. Well, fortunately for me, I'll go back to the position where we left. In this position, my opponent didn't play his knight to c7, but he played his knight to c5, which was a surprise for me. I played b4, and he went with his knight to d3. That was a big surprise for me. I didn't expect that. Actually, I expected him to play the knight to e4, because then if I want to centralize my king, he can go to c3, and then again after d6, king to d7, the pawn on d6 will fall again, because the knight will soon go to b5 or to e4. So I was surprised when in this position, when I woke up in the morning and I turned the PC on and I logged in, and I saw that he had played his knight to d3. I thought, well, there are two possibilities. One is that he didn't see the way to equalize with knight e4, and the other possibility is that he saw it, but he doesn't want a draw. He thinks he can achieve even more. Maybe he has found some way to win more pawns. So I started, well, thinking. I moved my bishop to e3. He played a6 to save his a7 pawn, and then I went with my king to f1 with the normal idea of centralizing the king, also thinking that if I could go to e2 I would attack the knight, so I would win one tempo in the centralization of my king. He played b5. His ideas are logical in the sense that he wants to put his pawns on light squares, because I have a dark square bishop. I went to e2, and his knight had to go away. He went to e5, and here what he wants to do, he wants to go to c5, attacking this pawn here and attacking my bishop. And I thought, I need some space to go with my king towards the center, and this knight is attacking these two fields that prevent my king from advancing, and that's why I played the move bishop to c1, defending the pawn on a3 and also making space for my king to walk forward. He went with his king to d7. I went to e3 with my king, and you see now I'm quite close to my own pawn. I can defend it easily. So in this position I have the feeling that it was going right. He went with his knight to g4 check, and here I did something that I think he didn't expect. I went with my king to f3. Sounds strange because I go away from the center, but the thing is that there is a little joke, and that is that if he takes on h2, knight takes f2, then I play king to g3, and after knight to f1 I play king h3, and then you see that this knight cannot go anywhere because all these squares where he could go, he will be taken. So I have control of all the squares where the knight can go. So that means that simply, let's say for example after king d6 I can play g4, and after he takes my pawn I can play my king to g2, and the knight will be mine. So that was my idea of going with the king towards f3 instead of going to the center at that point. I'll go back to that position after king f3. That's this one. Well, my opponent didn't take on h2, which would have been nice for me, but he saw this idea, so he played his knight to e5 check. Then in that case I went to the center, of course, and here he made a few big mistakes one after the other. Already the position is better for me, of course, because my king is nice centralized, defending the passed pawn, and I still have this bishop against the knight. But here he played a very big mistake. He played g5, and immediately I saw that I could take on g5 with the bishop, because he cannot take back. Because if he takes back, then I take the knight with my king. So I went with his king to e7, and here I thought, okay, this is easy, an easy win now. I'll take it easy. I'll go back with my bishop to c1, actually telling my opponent with this that hey, I'm not in a hurry. I can just relax and defend my pawn on a3 and then start advancing with my own pawns. So here he made the second big mistake, which is king to d6, because then I went back with my bishop to f4. The knight is pinned, and after h5, h4, he resigned because he's in a zugzwang position. He cannot move anything without losing material. So in this position the game ended.